The first way to make your retirement plan better is simple. Just have one. Over 90% of people that are retiring do not have a retirement plan, which is absolutely crazy. If you get nothing else out of this video, stop the video now and go get a retirement plan. It is crazy to think about leaving and preparing for the next 30 years of your life without a retirement plan. So please, please, please do that. I'm going to list out 5 ways to make your retirement plan better. And we need to go through the first 4 to get to the 5th one, but the 5th one is critical, so be sure to stay until the end. So again, have a financial plan. It's just that simple, a retirement plan. The second one is, often people, oh, by the way, behind me is something super interesting. I suspect none of you are going to guess what it is, but I suspect almost everybody has seen it on television. So I'll also share that at the end. Okay, the second way to make your retirement plan better is to test out living on your budget, your retirement budget, before you retire. If you're currently living on $70,000 a year and in your retirement plan you say, you know what, I'm going to live on $50,000 a year, you know what, try that for at least a couple months. See if it's reasonable. See if it feels sacrificial. While you're still working, before you give your notice, make sure that what you think you can do, because if you extend that out for 30 years of retirement and you find out, boy, we want to spend more money, better to know that while you still have your good job. So that's the second one. The third is to think about the tax implications of the money that you're going to take out of your retirement plan. So if all of your money is in a 401, of the majority, which is not unusual, if the majority of your money is in a 401k, regular 401k, a regular IRA, guess what? It's all going to be taxed as you take the money out, right? You got a tax break when you put the money in. It grew tax-free, but when it's time to take it out, guess what? It's taxable ordinary income. This is not tax advice. I'm not an accountant. I encourage you to work with an accountant. I encourage you to work with a fee-only financial advisor. This is information that you need to know so you can look it up yourself. So number 3, think through the tax implications of the retirement accounts that you have. And if you're still 5, 10, 15 years away from retirement, even if you're 2 or 3, there's some things that you can do to move money around to put you in a better taxable situation. If you've already retired, there's still things that you can do so that in 5 years, you have various what I call buckets that you can pull money out of. So one bucket is what I call the tax me later bucket, which are your tax-deferred accounts like a traditional IRA, a traditional 401k. Another bucket is what I call tax me now, but don't ever tax me again, and hope it stays that way. And those are the Roth IRAs and the Roth 401ks. The way the tax law is written now, again, I'm not an accountant, but the way the tax law is written now, you do not get a tax break when you put money into a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA. But then it grows tax-free, and as long as the law doesn't change, you're never taxed on that money. And of course, the third account is just a regular taxable account, money in your bank, money in a traditional brokerage account at places like Charles Schwab or Fidelity. So those 3 buckets, and so have an understanding as you're doing your retirement plan of what the tax implication is going to be, because, Uncle Sam, unfortunately, can take a pretty big chunk of our money. So you want to understand what that's going to be. You don't want surprises later on. It can also impact the cost of different services that you're going to get later. For instance, Medicare, and then the different supplements on Medicare. So again, I'm not an accountant, but there are income thresholds that determine how much all of this is going to cost you. And it tends to be on taxable income. So have a good feeling of that, okay? The fourth item that can make your retirement plan better is to stress test it. If you're assuming you're going to get a flat 8% return on equities, that's in the ballpark of what the stock market has done in the past. But you know how all these ads say past is no guarantee of future performance? There's a reason for that disclaimer, because it's very, very true. So you want to stress test your plan, and you want to stress test your portfolio. One way you can do that is by running what I call a Monte Carlo simulation. If you look it up, Monte Carlo simulation retirement, you'll find all kinds of tools. There's some free online tools to do this, but I think it's worth paying somebody to do this. It doesn't have, that has the wisdom. It's not enough to just have the calculator, the online calculator. You need the wisdom and the experience that comes from having helped clients with this for, frankly, decades. Okay, so that's number 4 is the stress test, and I shared that there's 5 of these. Actually, I lied. I'm going to give you a bonus one. So now we're on number 5, and the one that I kind of had to build up to is the one after this, so be sure to stay. If you're finding this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, think about subscribing. Believe it or not, only 20% of my viewers, you included, have subscribed. So if you like content like this, if you like videos like I produce on my channel, be sure to subscribe. Okay, let's jump in. The next way to make your retirement plan better is to identify what your most important assets are and to make sure you're protecting those and growing them in retirement. And it's probably not what you think. You probably think I'm going to talk about your Roth 401k, your financial assets, and that's one of your most important assets. But when you retire, and really throughout your whole life, there's other assets that are super important to you. Not only your financial assets, in fact, your financial assets can be replaced. But what can't be replaced is, like, if you're estranged from your family or certain family members in relationships. So, really think about not just how does my retirement impact my financial assets and how do my financial assets help me live the life that I want, but think about how retirement can help you strengthen and grow your relationships with people and your non-financial assets, right? So you've got family, you've got relationships. For some people, myself included, faith is important to me. My relationship with God. So think about maybe how that can be improved with the extra time that you're going to have, the freedom. And then finally, think about your skill, your asset base of skills, both from a working standpoint, but as a way to give back. Frankly, this YouTube channel is a way for me to give back. For years, my oldest daughter was sharing with me, hey, Papa, I understand you're good at what you do. Is there a way that you can help out the average person more? The younger generation has a very strong social conscience. So she's been after me for almost a decade now, saying, hey, how do you get the word out? How do you help people that, don't work with a financial advisor, maybe don't have the asset base? So this is one of my ways of doing that. But think of your skill assets. What skills do you have now that you want to sharpen in retirement? What skills have you always wanted to build that you haven't had time to? Think about your inventory of skills, and this is an opportunity to grow the value of the inventory of those skills, and not necessarily financial value, but the value to make your life a better life. So think about that. Okay. And then the last one is your physical and your mental health. Super important assets that unfortunately we don't think enough about. How's your health, right? Because unfortunately, if you're 60 years old, you likely only have 1,000 weeks left of healthy active time remaining. I wish we had a lot more time than that, but when you do the math, unfortunately, many of us have much less than 1,000 weeks remaining of healthy active time. So keep your health, invest in your health, do what you can with your health. Then that's your physical health. And then from a mental health standpoint, think about what things keep you in a positive space. I like to get things done. I like to do things. So frankly, that's going to be a challenge for me in retirement because a lot of the things I do are kind of work related. So what keeps me sharp is accomplishment. I tell my friends accomplishment is my drug of choice. So I definitely have to have a replacement for that. Another thing that's super important to me is having friends and adventures, doing things with my friends and having adventures. And speaking of which, I'm going to give you a clue as to where I am. I'm going to give you a background look. Like I said, almost everybody has seen this on television, but without that clue behind me, I don't think you would have got. So adventure is another one. So that's me. Those are the things that help me from a mental health standpoint. And whatever it is for you, keeping busy, learning's another one for me. Think about your mental and your physical health as an asset that you want to protect and you want to grow in retirement. Okay, so the last piece here that I think is the most important of all of this, and it builds off of what we said earlier, is really our relationships. So many studies show that if you don't have strong relationships, you're going to have a tough time in retirement, right? When you look at the studies of who has a rewarding period of time in retirement, it tends to be the people that have strong relationships. So if you've got friends that you haven't been able to stay in touch with in the past, work on, reach out to them again and rebuild that. If you and your spouse have been so busy raising the kids and building this nest egg and all the responsibilities, do what you can to rekindle that relationship. So that's the most important one. And please, 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 for the love of Pete, do a financial plan. Okay, I think I've given enough cues now that I think most people recognize where I am. I am at the launch of a bobsled run that was featured on television almost every night for 10 nights of the Olympics. The 2022 Olympics, the 2002 Olympics here in Salt Lake. This is the launch of the bobsled run. You can actually, this is not a sponsored video, but the Utah Olympic Park, if you'd love to sponsor me, I'd love to have you as a sponsor. But you can actually pay in the summer and winter to take a run on this with a professional bobsled driver. And if you're in your 60s or 70s and think you're too old to do it, you're not. My mom did it, I think, when she was in her 70s, I think like 75. So it's super fun to do. I think it's like $150. When my mom did it, it was $80, but that was over a decade ago. So anyways, that's the video for today. If you like this video, I think you'll enjoy this. Let's see, this video over here where I talk about the 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Thanks for watching. I'm Azul. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.